Hello friends, greetings. Welcome to How to VLAN channel. This is TBA VLAN stream. Today in this video, we are going to see how to backup and restore a very large table in a controlled parallelism or a controlled manner, you can say. Recently, I came across a database restore exercise in MSSQL, and it was quite surprising for me looking at the DB. The DB was of size close to 10 terabyte, and the top 10 tables contributed to nearly 95% of the database capacity. It had close to 300 or 200 odd tables. It was a vendor product table database. You might have heard IBM has a list of applications, and similarly, there are US companies which has application in backend. They use Oracle, MSSQL, any sort of database they want. Just the application code will be deployed, and application will take care of processing the data model deployment and everything. Database, you can choose a wide range of database. For example, Control-M is one thing like that. You can deploy Control-M application in Oracle, MySQL, Postgres. So it's your choice. Similar to that, it was one of the cards application. So one of the table was very big. It was an IoT table. So the table became so big such that the size of the table is nearly 70 to 80% of the whole database size itself. And it became quite unmanageable when it comes to migration. The objective was to migrate the database to PaaS, and you cannot restore the database as is like right click and restore DB using SSMS. To restore a database, a restore database command also will not work. You need to use a logical method, Bacpac for example, using export data tier application, extract data tier application, and export data tier, or export data tier application for the whole DB. We tried that. It ran for more than 24 hours and it did not succeed. Then we learned about the data table. That label, there is one 6.2 terabyte or 6.4 terabyte non-partition table presence in the database. And when we examined it, that's where we all got shocked. There is one column which receives the IoT device inputs access, and it is stored in an XML format. That column alone is 2 GB in size. Is in varchar max because they don't know, they do not know the limits of the IoT device. I think they just uploaded all the information from the IoT device. I'm not sure. So, but the size of the column is in varchar max, and that's 2 GB in size. Each column can grow up to. That's quite difficult to handle. In Oracle, it's also called large objects, we say. So in Oracle, you have two ways to store a large object, which is one is inline and the other one is outline. But in Microsoft SQL Server, I think it gets stored in place, inline only. So within the table, it gets stored. So when you extract the table, the throughput I saw when I ran the command BCP was 21 rows to 27 rows per second maximum. That's the throughput that I received. Because each row, when it runs it needs to read the 2 GB column, which ideally means in a second 27 rows means 27 into 50 GB, sorry 2 GB you can say, which is close to 50 GB per second, which is not a bad throughput. It's a good throughput actually. 50 gigabytes I'm talking about, not 50 gigabits. Alright, it looks like a good throughput, but it's run sequentially. That's where the challenge is. So what did I try was, I thought, why not we logically partition the table? No, there is no physical partition. Yes, we know it. Though it's an enterprise DB, we don't have a partition. It was not the data model of the application. It's not there. What can you do? It's a COTS product. You cannot go ask for the partition to be created from the application. But as a DB, what can you do to process such a large table? Maybe you may face this question in an interview as well. So I started discovering these options, and then I figured out why not we parallelly process the whole table by logically partitioning the table using some sort of windowing function. So which is what I'm going to demonstrate today. I'm going to create a large table, but I'm not going to include nvarchar max, but maybe it's for a different video. But for now, I'll show you, probably I'll walk you through setting up a large table and the various methods you can actually back up the table and restore it, and which one performs better we will see. Let's get started. As usual, we made our agenda clear. Right? Let's go through our plan. So all the codes, commands used in this exercise will be uploaded as usual to our blog poster. I'll see if I can upload this PowerShell scripts and commands also to my GitHub, so you can use that to download your data. First of all, the objective. So we spoke about that. I gave you a description here. So we perform 3 data processing steps in this tutorial. First is we download an open source data in pieces and join them together using a PowerShell and Python. You can choose PowerShell or Python, it's up to you. I saw Python output was some 5% bigger than PowerShell output. I don't know why, but I used PowerShell output only, but it's up to you, you can decide. So first, why do I need to do that? Because I downloaded the ATP data. It was available from a GitHub portal. So the ATP tennis matches for a large number of years, 1968 until 2024. So I downloaded that. Next, I'm going to join the output of the, I'm going to join all the pieces. Say for instance, this is year-wise data. All right, this is purely for educational purpose, right? So this is year-wise data. I'm going to merge them all together, create one large data set, and I load the data into SQL Server. And once the data is loaded into SQL Server, we will see various backup and restore options, and we will assess the performance of each. Alright, so I got the data downloaded already, and you can see here I already kept it here. Probably I'll give a credit to the GitHub portal where I got the download from, and you can also go take a look and download it. And like I said, I'm using it only for educational purpose. So the data is downloaded. Next, see, I mentioned it here, the GitHub repo, but I forgot where I got it downloaded. So probably I'll mention it in my blog post, so you can go also download it. Data downloaded is so ATP tennis data from year 1968 to 2024 actually. And the PowerShell code that you need to use is this. I don't need to walk you through the PowerShell code because I didn't write it. To be frank, it was given to me by the AI. I just prompted it that I want to do this operation, and it gave me the code. And all I need to know, okay, it may be asking me, so is it right way to do? Yes and no. Yes, if you understand the pseudocode. I understood the pseudocode. So which step does what, and in case if there is an issue in the PowerShell, I will know how to fix it as well. So it is okay. But if I don't know the pseudocode also, I don't understand the pseudocode, I copy the code as is and I don't realize what I am doing and I just run the code, is wrong. So that in that case it's a no. So yes and no, it's up to you. Okay. And the Python code also I understood. I also got it from AI only, but I understood the code. I know how a Panda library works. I don't know about glob though. Okay, but I know pandas, so I know how it works. So it's okay only to me. But I used pandas. I used Python also to generate the output. But like I said, it was 5% more than PowerShell output, and the Python code was taking I think 2 times more time than the PowerShell. PowerShell took 3 seconds or 5 seconds, but my pandas took 10 seconds or something like that. It maybe is the time to load the library, I do not know. Actual processing time, I think Python will be also equivalent to the PowerShell. So that's the way you need to merge the data. I don't think I need to walk you through this. It will work fine. If in case you face a problem, just post back to this video comment. I'll try to help you fixing it. Second, once the data is merged, we need to load the data into the database to a table. So how do we do that? It's about loading a CSV file into a table in the DB. Many of the people in the YouTube has done this before. I'm just not going to take a lot of time. I'm just going to walk you through it real quick. All right. So first I need to show you this table, isn't it? So this is the output table. This is for the Python. This is for the actual table. All right. Into this. Let's see, it will open the CSV output, and I can show you the columns. I'm not a tennis follower, guys, so I do not know about. I'm not. I know a little bit only in tennis. I don't know much. So you can see here the surface or the court is a clay court or grass court, and who was the winner and which country he belongs to, loser ID, what was the set, and you can see so many columns are there. All right, we are going to process all these columns, and how many records I managed to get. Actually, it's only 50% of it. All right, sorry, it was, I think, 194k. So we are nearly going to process 194k. 194k for a test data is huge to process. So you may wonder, he said a very large shell, but he is processing 194k only. The data that I saw in my real production environment was 40 million records. The table size is 6.2 terabyte. 40 million record, if it's just a raw data, it wouldn't be so huge, but it had a large max column. That's why size got pushed to 6.2 terabyte or 6.3 terabyte. So I hope you understood. So it's not the number of columns, it's also based on the column data type. If I had 2 nvarchar max column, done, that's it. For 40 million record, I would have processed 12 terabyte data. So depends on the column size and the number of rows both. But it, like I say, I mean, if it's not having any sort of this varchar max or large object, it wouldn't grow so big. The table won't be growing so big. So here the number of records, we wanted to see how we split it. So this number 194k is a meaningful number to split and process. Okay, let's go on. We can load it as many times as we want. The 194 record, we can say process again and again some 10 times. It will become 1.9 million records. 194k can become 1.9. If I do it 100 times, it may become eventually 19 million records. Yeah, but we can decide if you want to do it. Maybe we can do it in this video if time permits. If the video doesn't go long, always in our case the video goes for more than an hour. Alright, then we open the SSMS. Yeah, I got it open. I normally keep all my lab on a separate virtual machine. Of late my Windows VMs are not working fine. After Windows 10 also going out of support, I'm not able to install any sort of Windows virtual machines. So I ended up installing it in my local laptop. So bear with me. Next, so what it says, right click on the database. Yeah, this is our database. So forget about this database. We are not going to talk about this. This is where our real data is stored. You can see I have already tested this. Whatever step I'm going to walk you through, I have already tested it and they all worked. But I did not measure the performance yet. I wanted to measure it with you guys watching. Okay. So let's get started, guys. So let's see how this performs. Fine. And tasks. And I should really appreciate SQL Server design as well. It's not the Linux. It's not the Windows. It's not Oracle. It's not SQL Server. They are more or less designed to scale. Okay, I mean, there are some places where Oracle signs well. There are places where SQL Server signs well. right? For instance, in MSSQL, the availability group is a wonderful concept. Oracle did not have this. Oracle did not have this sort of availability group concept. They have it now until pluggable database versions were released. But it was, yeah, it was way back in 2012 when 12c was released. But then it, unlike SQL Server, Oracle never had the containerization concept before, so they were catching up. They were catching up, and now both of them have such a similar features. So now let's get into our task. So right click on the database and tasks, import data, import okay, what have I mentioned here? Task import from flat file, import data. So let's do that. Tasks, import data. Oh no, you're not import data, import from flat file. That's like a wizard that walks you through all the steps you need to do. So tasks, import flat file, because ours is a flat file, and not import data. See, that's why I put an exclamation mark here. Create a new data table. Next, validate auto column detection, load the data. This is what we need to do. Okay, so specify the input file. So this is our input file. Oh no, not py. We need the shell. Yes, so the PowerShell output. New table name. So we already have got so many tables. So I will create ATP data 5 November 25. DBOS schema name. I don't have a separate schema. It's not there. I just opened it. I think it is failing because I got it open. Maybe this is for something new I keep seeing now recently. I'm saying last 6 months or so, Windows 10 doesn't allow two files to be opened from the, mainly these Microsoft Word files, never it's allowed. See, now it going through because I got the file open, that's why I said it's not allowing. Okay, if you ask me, am I going to use it in the same way? You can see here, it's showing the preview of the data. Yeah, we had most of the columns empty on the right. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Loser name is a name, winner name is a name. We audit it like this: winner location, country, and loser location, score. Yeah, everything looks fine. Best of and round off. Okay. And here, if you want to adjust something, you can adjust it. But for me, I think it's okay. But I just wanted to take a look because I face some problems with the data load, and this is a valid table, and I want to see if. Yeah, I adjusted everything to nvarchar 5. You can see here. So you want to adjust it, you can adjust it. So let me observe it for a minute because I faced a problem, so I fixed it. So why not we fix it right away in the designer wizard itself? If you want to adjust it, yep, well, let's do it. So this is PK. The record ID is not here because it's not there. I will add it for another type of loading. I will not add it here. Okay, so if you see here, winner HT is a tiny int. Okay, I think this all are enter work 5. So let's make it 5. But if you ask me whether it's going to fail or it's not going to fail, it's not going to fail with this loading also. Only when we do the next step, which is to load using BCP command or bulk copy command, then that time this will fail because of nvarchar 1. And it will demand a width of 5 minimum. So I am setting it now itself 5, so I can use a create table statement from here itself. So to create the definition, so I copy this. Let's do it. So this is how we do it through the designer wizard. Shrink it. Don't need such a big one. It's a varchar. It's already identified to be a varchar. For me, it's not like a yes or no question. Winner rank, first one. These are all empty. So anyway, and the next finish. It's loading the data. Let's wait. Oh, it's failed. Okay. Okay, so let's go here. All right, let's remove all null. Okay, let's allow nulls on all the fields. I think it should work now. Because there are, I think in few, because it samples the top 10 rows or something to create the data dictionary, the data model, I guess. But once below 10 records, maybe might not really have a record. So in such fields, the null record may be failing. Oh, yeah. All right, let's expand the file group. On the lab, see, I am not so prepared, I think, for the lab. Just give me a minute. I'll expand this. Limited to set it to 500. I can set to unlimited. Yeah, why not? Let's set it to unlimited. For a lab, but I wouldn't suggest you do this in your case as well. Just evaluate if you have space and do you do it. And let's set everything to unlimited because I don't want you guys to watch this error again. But if you ask me whether it's okay to set it this way, no. So, you need to properly evaluate if you have disk capacity or not, then set it to unlimited. Yeah. Okay, now let's go back and next finish. Thing is already present, so I will drop the table. Thing is not showing me the latest one. Yeah. Let's see how many records it loaded. No, none of them loaded. Drop the table. I like this click, but I'm not fan of GUI operations at all, guys. So anyway, let's wait for it. I always very afraid about this click and all. So click going through GUI screen. If I mean, I just bit scared about the GUI screen interactions. Normally, I wish everything is done through command line because command line means you have more control than GUI. By here, if your mouse plays something, you can actually drag and drop this table into somewhere else. It may not allow. I mean, I'm sure SSMS won't allow, and it may fail. There may be a check constraint, something like that might have been activated. But I'm not fan of GUI screens anyway. So with MSSQL, they made it through SSMS. SSMS is a wonderful product. I don't deny that. Yeah. Many many DBS was background of Oracle as their primary, and they evaluate MSSQL space. They blame that SSMS is not good. I need SQL CMD for most of my operation. Then there are debates going in the public forums as well about this SSMS versus SQL plus command line interface. But for me, SSM is also good. Is equivalent to your Oracle SQL plus. You can still, you are given with a GUI screen. In GUI you have an option to run commands, so why not we can leverage it. Yeah, you have SQL CMD also, you can enable it and run it. Yeah. Now the data is loaded, is success. We close it, we refresh the data, we just look at the tables, and I just select the top 1000 rows, and you can see the top 1000 rows are selected. You can see 1000 rows. This is my session ID. And how many records have I loaded? I haven't loaded any index on this table. Okay, but next we are going to create it, but with a different name. Bulk copy we are going to do. You can see 194,996. If you remember, that was the record count we had. That was the number of records we had. We didn't have even single record failing. If it was failing, then it would have failed in the import flat file operation itself. So we now loaded a CSV into MSSQL. So here you can see 194,997. The first record is a column heading, so that's skipped. 194,996 here, so that's valid. Next step. So until here we are done. So alright, just give me a minute. Alright, I cannot attach the screenshot to the notepad, so I had a Word document open now and I'm attaching the screenshots here. Next option 2 is to use bulk insert. So this will be our syntax, and you can see I already have the syntax proper, so I just need to, you can also the other way, if you ask me, if you're new to SQL Server, you can go here, script table, create to new query editor window. How did I arrive at the table definition? I'm just going to show you. See here, and I want to just show you the difference between the DDL that I have and the DDL. You're seeing it here. This is the DDL, we got it from the table database, and this is the DDL, I have it. Let's compare these two and identify what are the differences. You can see here the difference is only one row. That's this record ID is the only difference, and the table name. Those are the only difference. So now we are going to introduce the record ID, and we are going to create the table first. Yeah, just record it also for your reference in the blog. Let's record this difference. And how did we get this DDL? Let's record the SQL SSMS output as well. Yeah, now let's go back. Now let's change the name of the table. So it's ATP 5th November 2025. So we're going to test bulk copy, right? So we say BC bulk copy. Yeah, now if I run this create table statement, it's going to create me the table. But I don't want the table without the record ID. So refresh it, drop it, yeah, delete it. And I just mentioned the record ID because I want a primary key, and also I need yeah, I need a primary key or a unique key so that I can use the logical partitioning functions, window functions. So now the table we can create again. So okay, it already exists. Yes, there is already another PK record ID, it does exist. I'll say BC1, bulk copy 1. Okay, table is created. And we can see here the table is created, and if I select the top 10,000 rows, no row selected. So we created a now bulk copy table. We'll measure this. We'll capture the screenshot of the table creation. I hope many of you know how to take a snapshot in the latest Microsoft Word. This is one way, guys, and I really like this feature in Microsoft. And that's next one. Here you go. There is no data here, so we add an evidence for this. And we go here and write yes. Table is created. And the screenshot captured. Now I need to do the bulk loading. So I'm using the same file, if you guys remember. ATB merged py ATB merged and .csv. Right. So I don't know what's the difference. I think I was wrong. I told you guys that I don't need to add another column. I mean, I never mentioned you that we need an additional. We told you about the record ID column, right? I think we need to add that column. Without this column, you need to add it as empty also, at least empty. Then only the bulk copy will work. Otherwise, it will not work. So it's the same table. It's the same file. I just added record ID column here. Okay, that's the only difference. That's why it says bulk copy. Okay. So same file as above with an additional column to accommodate the record ID primary key. Okay. Let's see bulk insert into DBO ATB matches 2 million from this file with field delimiter comma and rows first row equal to 2. So it will start from the second row and load the data. What I am going to do is I'm going to load it here. Instead of this table, we are going to load it to, instead of 2 million, we are going to load to bulk copy table. Alright, so now let's do the data loading. It's running, guys, so I'll take a screenshot. I also wanted to evaluate this data processing performance also. You can see here it processed it 194,996. This we know because this sort of loading also led to 194,996. This is for comparison. I'm showing you. This is loading through import flat file. Import flat file result is this. Bulk copy result is this. So we got the same amount of data loaded in either way, so we don't need to be concerned, and there is no error as well. So if there is an error, we need to pay attention to it. There is no error, so, and here it's auto commit, so you don't need to worry about anything. And one other additional information I heard from Microsoft. I was talking to a Microsoft engineer about this bulk insert. Maybe our conversation was wrong, guys. You correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, please feel free to share me in the feedback section or comments in YouTube. So what I was trying to understand is you have a free space in your file. Let's imagine in your file you have free space, and you have fragmented free space. When you insert using data using bulk insert, do you actually try reusing the fragmented free space, or will you format a new page? In Oracle, the direct path loads or the bulk loads, whatever we say, is always a new page or new block it's formatted. But I heard in SQL Server from the engineer, I was very surprised. He told me that it's not the new page. We will try still use the same free space that is left within the fragmented space. You will not look for contiguous space, even if it is a broken space that is available as a free space. We will try to capitalize on it, which ideally means for a bulk insert is ideally optimized for performance. But if you go search for the free space and try insert your record, ideally it's going to slow you down. But I don't know why Microsoft designed it that way. Maybe he was wrong, maybe I was wrong. You guys can correct me, so that will be useful for me. I will anyways test it sometime in future if this is really the case, to be really sure that it is the case. So what really is true is we can test it and then no. I'll test it sometime. Okay, I'll squeeze a file and try loading a large data. Then I eventually bulk insert, squeeze a file, but keep sufficient amount of free space. I'll see if the free space gets filled up. Then new pages get formatted or not. I'll check it. Okay, I'll let you know. Next, we are going to extract the data. We now loaded the data. We have the record. Now this time we didn't query the data, right? Let's try querying the data. Yeah, let's do that. I don't need 1,000 records. I just need 10 records. All right, let's query this. We loaded the data, and you can see here the record ID is populated, and the versus the earlier table you will not see there is a record ID column. Yeah, so that's there. Let's take a screenshot. Otherwise, I need to go through the video to take the screenshot. I don't want to do that. Now, next is we are going to try extracting the data. This is where our performance optimization or measure going to play. And for that, I need my clock up. All right, so let's take our stop clock, not stopwatch. Right, okay, let's get this thing ready. Okay, for our testing. All right, so first we will use Bacpac method to extract a whole table. Next, we will use BCP command to extract the whole table into a single file. Third is our actual procedure using logical partition. Okay, so we will use all these three methods to evaluate the performance. Then we extracted the data. Is this data going to work if you load it back? We wanted to be sure, right? Otherwise the whole purpose is defeated. So we are going to try load the data again back to the database from the backups using these three options we took, right? We are going to load all the data that we took it through the three options and load it back to the database. Are you guys ready? Let's get ready. Let's get started. First is Bacpac option. Bacpac option is nothing but export data tier application. The pros and cons of this operation. In the export data tier application does allow you to extract or customize your table list, but it doesn't allow you, I think, to skip the database information or schema information. It was mainly designed, I think, for PAS, migrating data from IaaS to PAS, I guess. I'll show you the internals also. When I say internals, to some extent I learned what it is. I'm going to share with you. You may wonder, then how are you actually going to restore a single table from a Bacpac file? Because you're taking a backup of the whole database and the schema of the table. Then how are you going to load one independent table? I'm going to show you that. I had the same question, but then I figured it out. I told you already I tested in the individual procedures, but I did not evaluate the performance alone. The first is Bacpac. The next one is BCP command. You can see here we'll change the commands accordingly. Okay, first let's go to SSMS tasks and export data tier application. So you come here, this is a GUI screen. I'll just take a screenshot of this GUI screen so it's easy for people to follow that later. Next, so save to local disk, yes, or you can save to Microsoft as well. And you can see here the next option, advanced, this is where you will have an option to select the table you want to extract. I am really going to change it list. So the actual one is this 5th November. That's all. The 2M Bacpac, don't worry about them for now. I think yes, I already have it in the bottom. Let's pick up this path. Alright, and go to advanced and uncheck all the tables. I don't want all the tables, I need only the bulk copy. Ensure you're not selecting the other one. That was only shown, I just showed you to demonstrate how to load the data using flat file. But BC command output is a proper one because I need to add an extra column. Okay, I do not know if there is a way to actually add an extra column in the import flat file method. Okay, then maybe it's a difference between using the BC and the import flat file method. Okay, so I'm choosing this table now, and this is what my settings are. I've selected only one table. This is my schema name and table name is name. I think I need to take the previous screenshot as well. Right, let's take it so it's easy for you guys to follow this doc. Next you do this, you get the screen. Alright, finish it. That's it. So it is running now. Let's see, it's exporting the schema. It's exporting the schema from DB. Let's see, once it finishes, then we will know how it performed. We configure details. Do you shrink it? No. Yeah. Yeah. So, oh my god, I missed it to expand it. Now the data extract phase begins. So, yeah, I activated it. 7 seconds. Alright, let's stop it. Maybe 10 seconds. Okay. It took 10 seconds. Let's write it. Maybe I was wrong also because it's not so huge data. So let's say 10 seconds. Let's take a screenshot of the clock as well. I don't know if the clock will come. Yep, it came. No problem. Let's keep it. It's good. Next, let's close this. Next option we are going to try. But for the next option, we will put data. Okay. Where are you? Yep, here we go. So we're going to run one single threaded BCP command to take the data out. Okay. So this is comma separated. We're going to dump the data. So not this table. We have a new table. That's here. Let's change the name of the table. Yeah. Okay, how to 05 November today, that is 2M. That's okay, leave it. So I'm gonna run this command in 3 formats. So when I run all these 3 commands together, they're going to print me the time before and after. Alright, so that way I will know how long this process took. So it started at 206 38. Still running. It's not good. It's more than 10 seconds. Let's pause it. Okay. Or it through native error DBC could not open a connection to SQL Server. Oh yes. I think I made a mistake here. I should not be putting minuses. Sorry team. Sorry guys. Oh, did I make a mistake here? Sorry again. Let's do this now. Let's do done. Alright. I think I entered a bit late. 3:39, 3:30:09, and we finish. Oh my god, it's not going to work. How long we took? Here we have the time, right? 4,200 seconds, milliseconds, 4.2 seconds. So it's pretty fast, right, guys? Let's take this one number. It copied this records in a record breaking time. All right. This we don't need a screenshot. Take this option. Let's measure it. Put it here. Yep. Alright, so this one we know how we performed. Now let's move on. I captured the screenshot as for you. Now let's move on to the actual partitioning. So how am I going to partition this? You can learn about this partitioning here in this URL. I'm going to leave the URL with you. And this is about NTILE function. So NTILE is an analytical function, and that helps you to partition the data. How many partitions? It's equivalent to the number that you mentioned here. NTILE 4 means 4 partitions we are going to create for the table we are operating on. Based on which column? That's based on this record ID column. This is why I created this record ID field, which is a unique value. I didn't have any other unique entries in the table. That's why I mainly needed to add this record ID, and I added that as an identity column. That identity column feature is there in Oracle as well. Order by record ID ascending. So I wanted this to be in ascending, and I mentioned here as a part ID. What happens is it starts assigning 4 values like a mod operation or something. So you will see partition 1 having a range of 1 to, say we have 200,000 records, right? So so 50k records per partition it may assign. That way 200k records will be distributed over 4 partitions. But it's not unlike in mod operation, you 1 by 1 is actually 1, so which is 0, then and then remainder is 0, so that way. So if you have 4, then until you reach 4, actually it will be 1 2 3 and then 0 again, 1 2 3, like that you get as per a result of mod operation, isn't it? So that is one other way. That is other way. But if the value is uniform, say for instance it's identity column here, so it's no concern, you can run the mod also. The otherwise it may not be uniformly distributed, because mod operation may result, say for instance we have 4 as a record ID for the many columns, then all of them will be going into the 0th partition. Again we will have problem, data skewing will be there. We don't want the data skewing, right? So we want a even distribution of data. This NTILE function with the record ID will get the data uniformly distributed across all the partition. Look for such a record ID kind of identity columns in your table if you want to partition the table logically Otherwise, any primary key column works, guys. Okay. Now, so it actually uses again the record ID on ascending order, and mm, it does an entire operation to break it, and then you will know the minimum value and maximum value to get your data processed. Okay, so I'll show you how this query works. Here our table name is different, right? So we just put this name. So I'm going to run this operation on this record table. I'm going to run it here. Right, let's do this. We can see here we get 4 partitions. Partition 1 starting from 1 minimum, maximum 48749 record ID. If you ask me, will this number be 48749 in your case? No, it will not be. It is the actual value of the field. And here I don't have any records deleted between 1 and 48,749. That's why it's ending properly. It's uniformly distributed across 4. It's like dividing that 194k by 4. Each partition will have that many number of records. Very uniform distribution. Okay. So which means that we are going to BCP all these 4 partitions at the same time using query. That's what you are going to see. Okay. Let's do the next step. So it's done. Example. Now we need to take out the data. For this we need this partition information. Yeah. Partition the table logic using entire function, an analytical function. Next. Right, so we can run this command to generate the output. What do we do? Example, select column 1, column 2 from database name, schema name, table name, where condition. Query out to this file and connecting to the server -t -c. What we are doing here? We are running an actual query. So the BCP followed by BCP, the table name alone, if you mention it, select start from the table. That's what it mean ideally is. If you give a query, then that acts as a row source. We will meet the condition also. Is more or less the same way we mentioned this in export and pump in export pump in Oracle. Okay, so actual server name skipped since it's in localhost. Yeah, it's in my localhost. So all I need to do is replace this with my new table. I already have this uniformly distributed, right? So this boundaries won't change. I think 1 2 48749 1 2 48749 5029 can evenly see 99 48 99 48 96 47 98 46 96 47 98. Yeah, this looks value matches, and you should know that it's another interview question. If you're working as a data engineer or data analyst, be aware between operator in MSSQL includes both the boundaries. So it will match 1, it will match 48749. It's equal, it's like greater than or equal to 1, less than or equal to 48749. That's what this between operator is mean. And I already substituted the date name, so all looks fine. And I need to open 4 command prompt windows. Let's see, 3. I don't know whether I will have time to spin up all these 4 windows at the same time. I think by the time I open the 4th window, the first window already will have been finished, because it takes only 4 seconds. Maybe what I will do, I'll just copy and keep it ready in all the 4 screens. And the third, yeah, but if you run it as if you're running it in your production environment, you will have an opportunity to launch them as an agent job or Windows scheduler job. So you can launch them all in background as well that way. Whenever you operate on a large table, please don't put it in command prompt on your login. Try to put it in agent job as an agent job or Windows scheduler task. Okay. All right. Now I'll keep my putty screens in a sequential manner. So one after the other it comes. I enter, 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 enter. All right, 1.3, 1.8. I think we finished in, see, 938, 51,000, 35,000, 24. I'll just keep it like this so you can see. All of them copied nearly 4847 records evenly across all the tables. So average 2 seconds, maybe we can say 4 seconds versus 2 seconds. That's what we achieved. So that's good improvement, isn't it? See, it's a very, for this table we achieved a marginal improvement of 2 seconds. But imagine in our case, how much in your case where a large table is involved, you may achieve a much better performance than this. Okay. All right. So average 2 seconds. So 4 seconds versus 2 seconds. This is the fastest data extraction we have achieved, and this will work on large objects or in virtual max as well, but it takes time. So instead, one thread 27 rows per second, 5 threads 27 rows per second, which means that you're increasing scalability. But if you read the same row from two processes, eventually your processes will be blocking each other. I saw that blocking session in my production. When I ran it in 5 threads, there is no guarantee that you will never read the same page. It's always possible you may read the same page because it's not physically partitioned, it's just a logical partition. So this two rows can come from the same page, and both the process can try to read the same page. And I already know, I just tried opening the Windows Word document from two different places, the same file. Windows doesn't allow it for even reading. I don't know why they came back with this feature. They could say that you want to open the file and read only more. I'm happily going to agree to it, but now Windows is blocking that. So the same logic will apply in a database as well. So read should not be blocking writers, but read can block the reader again. Reason is the page will be already being served for another user, so they may block the other user from reading the same page until that page is read and consumed by the consumed. I mean, given to the end user. So until then, it doesn't allow two person to read the same page. I saw the event also when such things happen. We didn't activate any event or profiling now, so I couldn't show you what event it was going through for the 2 seconds. Maybe we would have hit the same contention in the DB for the same page. Maybe it's a different video we need to do. We'll do it, okay. But for now, it finished in 2 seconds, much better than anything else. So take a screen. We'll take only one sample, not more than that. That's why you see first one is 9:38 seconds, but the later ones time might have increased as well because they were waiting each other. Time overall 2 seconds. Alright, and next, are we able to load such extracted data? Let's try loading the Bacpac data we extracted. And for loading the Bacpac data, you need an utility called the SQL package.exe, and it's available here. I'll share it with you guys. And if you're planning to restore the database and schema along with the table you extracted, this method is okay. So here we have no way to actually exclude this database and schema, that they will be restored along with the table you exported. So let's do that. This is the actual command. I already have this command with me, and you can see here, this is my program. I already downloaded and installed it. Action I want to import, and I want to import this backup into target server name. TSN is target server name, TDN is target DB name, and the encryption requirement I set it to false. Okay, this is the example. I'm going to change this now. Actual. All right, now action import So we took a Bacpac, right? So let's go here. Backup. Okay. Yeah, here should be a backup. The Bacpac is here. That's yesterday Bacpac 04 November. We need 05 November Bacpac. I'll bring it forward here. Okay, and so this is the server name. The default port 1433 being listened to. So ideally we shouldn't face any problem. And we will run this command now. Alright. And if you ask me, I'm going to conduct any performance benchmarking here. Maybe, it may not be. Okay. And I need to change the name of the DB that I'm going to import this to, right? Temp DB 5th November. Okay. So just to make name different. Alright, let's start the clock. So it's doing the importing the database on server, creating deployment plan, initializing the deployment. It's ongoing. Let's see how is it doing. Not here and here. I still not created it. I think it failed if it takes so long. Let's see. Yeah, it's doing something. Let's see. We will see what is each doing. Who is active? I learned about this. Who is active? It's like such an oracle. So nothing printed. Okay. What have I done? There's so many sessions open. Yeah, fine. Let's go back, check the screen. Yeah. So verify the deployment plan and analyzing the deployment, importing the package, updating the database, importing the data, processing the import, disabling the indexes. So it disables the index. It's more like Oracle's pump, which does step by step all operation. It does the same way. Processing the table 5 BC. We didn't take a backup of these tables, but still see DDL alone is taken and they imported the data even though we didn't want it. So all the tables got created, I don't think data is there in any of them. At least this is a very big table. Alright, but it will not have any data because we never chose that in our export. I'll show you that here. Tables. The only table that I am suspecting we will have is this. Yeah. Not even this. It will not be there because we never chose it. See? Alright. Take a screenshot of this. Bacpac using SQL package. Then we show this. And you can see here. This is the table for concern. I somehow highlighted it and it's visible. This is taken care. Next, this method we saw. Why did I let it run this one? Yes, it took some time, but it does a lot of steps compared to just data loading. So we cannot really say that this is long running. We queried the data and it's worked fine. It worked just fine. Order cards, part of the only table we were backing up is loaded fine. Others DDL is loaded. Next, but in our case only one table, this won't benefit us. So use one of these options. Yes, so one load from the uh, Bacpac itself. So how do I load one table from the Bacpac? Is it possible? Yes, it does. How? I'll show you that. This Bacpac file, right, is actually is not any arbitrary format or Microsoft internal format. It's a zip file only. You just extract it here. Yeah, oh my god, I extracted it. I control that. I want to extract not on this location, extract to this location. Yeah, then only I can show you this. If you see here, I have data, right? This data is again a BCP copy, just the row information, and the table, and then the directory above this you have the table DDLs. So you can imagine Microsoft intern is using BCP command only to copy the data out, even with Bacpac operation, and it's in BCP's native format. That's all, not -e. So if you want to load the data, you can pick up the process file from here, and I go here. You can use bulk import or BCP command itself to load. I will show you the BCP bulk insert maybe, because we are going to see BCP next. So here we'll just copy this, then just copy this path and load the first partition. I think it has 1000 records or 2000 records. I don't know what it is. And just replace it with this, and you will see the data getting loaded. And where do you want to load it? You can load it to the 2 million load back also. We can create a new table here, or we can load it back to. We don't have a table, isn't it? So let's create a table for this reason. This table is empty, isn't it? Doesn't have any records, right? Let's load into this table. Yeah. So it should work. All right. Let's use this bulk insert into this. See, I'm mentioning data file type is native. It's the same BCP command, and I can run it on all the partitions, and I can even run it in parallel if I wish. Yeah. Take a screenshot at this stage. Individual BCP dumps from Bacpac. It doesn't have any. Now I'm going to run this. Then 1320 rows affected, not a single error. Okay. And select count of 1 from. So you can load rest of all the partition. I think it has we have 190k record, right? Only 1000 records are extracted out here, loaded here, which means that I need to run it, I think, again another 1900 times. I'm not sure. So, or 190 times maybe. Yeah. If I see the number of partitions there, maybe it will be less than or equal to 200, I think. One three two zero. Turned to be pretty lengthy. Okay, now let's go check. Did we take a screenshot of this? Yeah, we got it. Yeah. Now let's look at this. So we got 1320, and if you see, we have how many such BCP files are here? 87 files are here, and I think in middle and all the size is double, triple and all. I don't know how it actually parallelized it. Why did it create 87 dump? I have no idea why it does it so, but it does it this way, and you have a way to load the data from the Bacpac as well independently, only the data. You don't need to worry about it. Next, yeah, all okay. Now load the BCP data back again. So we got a BCP data, right? One whole table minus C format. Just load that. This is at minus C, isn't it? So we stored it here. Let's load. We'll truncate the table that we just loaded, and we load the data into that from now on. Yeah, each time. Okay, so this is our table. Not this one. Okay, in see here BCP, this table in, meaning data will come from this text file into the DB. Yeah, table. Let's see if it works. It will fail with primary key error. So before I do that, I need to truncate this table. Zero records again. It's going to be quite an intensive amount of work it will take me to merge all this data together. The screenshot and the commands, I need to put them all into one place. Alright, let's move on. So I need to load the data. Yeah, let's load it. Yeah, it did process and it took 4.2 seconds. So for loading and loading, both are same time. See if you have processed it. So I'll take a screenshot of this. Let's look at this record count here. Did it get it load? Yeah, it got it load. Same number of records, 194996. Yeah, so this is okay. So what's next? We need to load the partition file. It's no different than the Bacpac file we just loaded. We just have 4 partitions. That's the only difference. So I'll show you how to load this. Yeah, we need to just change the name of the table. You can again use bulk copy as well, no problem. Okay, it's already the same file name, everything is set. All I need to do is partition 1, partition 2, partition 3. I need to choose this partition 1 now. So I don't think you have any more question. And similarly partition 2, but I think this data loading cannot happen in parallel. Reason there is a primary key, so validation will always slow the process down, so better to do it in sequential, or you need to disable the primary key and load it and then activate it. So that's one other option. Either way you can choose it. Probably I will try loading it in parallel and see if it results in any lock or block. And third, Okay, and I will have I'll close everything because it's confusing me. We'll keep only the relevant sessions. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we need to properly assemble them, so it's easy to jump through one by one. Okay. We need to truncate the table first, isn't it? Let's truncate this, check the rows. 0. Okay, let's load it. It's done. So took 1, 2. Yeah, this one did not never process. Yeah, 2 seconds maybe again. So duration 2 seconds approximately. Yeah, let's put back this file. So let's take a screenshot. Okay, so data is captured, the results are good. Let's take an output of this query. Oh, what happened? I think one of them did not run. That's 48, 48, 48. Oh, I think I never entered. That's the reason. Take a proper screenshot, yeah. All right, next we need to show the number of records in the database. Now it's proper. So the records are loaded. Let's evaluate the actual values also. Until now, that will verify this process. Okay, we got the results. Okay, the data is comparable. Okay, 6 or 32. I think it's just somewhat. I never put sorting on the first column, guys. So, but anyway, it still sorts in the first column. I don't know if this is a behavior cluster column. Maybe in the cluster column it may sort. I don't know. I need to explore. Okay. But in Oracle, you cannot expect this to happen in sequential. The record will never be shown in a sorted manner because it's a costly operation for the DB. Yeah. But you can see here, example 40,000 rows per second, 45,000. Alright. Footnotes. Yeah, you can run these queries to measure how this is performing. Alright. That's it guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We saw with the parallel threads, export and import took 2 seconds versus single threaded process took 4 seconds, and the Bacpac process was much lengthier because it does extra operations as well. But Bacpac keeps the DB blindfolded, which I don't like. Okay. So if you like this video, share it with your friends and give me a thumbs up to this video. And in case you are interested in realizing some videos in our database space, kindly message me. I can actually make a video in Postgres, MySQL, Oracle, MSSQL, and I'm planning to take set up videos in DB2 as well sometime in future. I am exposed to DB2 also for last 2-3 years, so I know how DB2 works. Maybe we'll talk about partition database sometime. DB2 top. So how is DB2 top and DB2 stop? All that we'll see in another video. But until then, thanks for staying with me for this long. I think it's more than an hour. I don't know how much time I'm going to shrink in this video, but it's pretty lengthy. It's gonna be pretty lengthy. I'm confident about it. But thanks for staying with me until then. Thank you guys. Bye.